Last week, a big championship shakeup. A clutch performance. Championship rival Josh Strang had trouble. Mullins are going to cruise to victory here at Unadilla and retake the series points lead. The best off-road riders in the world do battle next. Well, hello everyone, and welcome once again to Racer TV on Versus. Jason Wygant, your host, and we've got the Pan Am Grand National Cross Country Series ready to rock today. And rock is the key here. This track littered with boulders at this VP Racing Fuels Mountain Ridge GNCC. A morning race just about wrapped up. The KTM people very happy. They've claimed another women's class championship thanks to Maria Forsberg. So the championship shirts all around for the Orange squad. Some of the other riders in this morning race are still working their way toward the finish. Here's the track stats. 12-mile course, and in the 3-hour allotted time, we expect to get 6 laps in. Nearly 1,000 riders on hand, and you can see here just how rocky this track is. It's going to be a tough one. Pro riders on the line. There is Charlie Mullins, now your series points leader. Took it away from Josh Strang, who had some bad luck in our last race. We'll explain that later. Here is Nate Canny. Very good in technical terrain like this. Same thing with Mike Lafferty. They could be spoilers today. And don't forget the kid, Caleb Russell, looking for his first ever career win. He has been getting closer and closer every week. We're just about set to go racing, so we'll send it down to the old school GNCC voice. John Ayers back on hand today for the legendary 10-second start call.
10 seconds! So we're off and running with round number 11, the VP Fuels GNCC is underway.
Ooh, what a jump for Paul Whibley on the M-Pro FMF Yamaha. The number 3 is going to outduel everyone for that whole shot. So motorsport.com is going to give him $250. Josh Strang in the number 1, giving him a challenge. Canny right there with him. And now Mullins slices to the inside to take over third. So you got your 3 championship contenders, Whibley, Strang, and Mullins, and then one of the spoilers, as we expected, Nate Canny with them in 4th. Look at Strang, not waiting around, trying to find lines to get around Whibley early. Mount Ridge, yes, we are on a ridge top. A lot of wind through here, so they do set up wind farms. Let's go back down to the starting line for our XC2 class. These are 250cc bikes instead of the 450s in the XC1 division. A lot of young kids here. And Cody Gregg nails it. Gregg, not too shabby at a motocross track or a GNCC trail, gets off to the early lead here. The man to watch, your championship leader, is Stuart Baylor on a KTM. Jason Thomas trying to keep him honest in the championship run, but coming on strong as of late. Jordan Ashburn will cover this class throughout the day. As we go back up front in XC1, no surprise, Josh Strang has taken the lead. The Australian, your defending champ, is motivated today. He's got Mullins right behind him. And there's Caleb Russell quickly up to the number 3 spot. Whibley back to 4th, Thad Duvall. There's Canny. And the rest of the field working their way forward. But Strang has almost put himself in a must-win situation today. He had the points lead heading into our last round. Woo! A little bit of a rough ride for Ryan Eccles here on the 345. But Strang had a crash early in the previous race. Bent the sprocket on his bike, took 3 laps for him to bicycle his way back to the pits, borrowed that from a spectator. Then they got parts back out to the bike, repaired it. But by that point, he had lost a ton of positions, a ton of points, and now Mullins has taken over the series points lead. Collateral damage there, Strang crashed with Corey Buttrick, who is out for today with a concussion. That's the effects of that crash. So Strang, luckily to survive that one healthy, but he did lose a bunch of points. He needs to get a win to get those points back. He's got Mullins right behind him, and we stress it every week on this show, as actually Russell has taken over 2nd from Mullins, and Whibley right there as well. Every week we talk about these are 3-hour races. You've got to be careful, especially in these rocky sections. You cannot win the race on lap 1, but you can certainly lose it. Looks like the rider on the move up to 3rd right now is Thad Duvall, and Russell has gone backwards just a bit, but mistakes will happen in this type of terrain. And look, as we expected, up to second quickly, Mike Lafferty, your multi-time AMA National Enduro champion. Lafferty is very good on very tough terrain like this, and also very fast early in the races. The Enduro riders really excel in just following those orange arrows. You see that? They can read trail. But Strang reading it best right now, holding up under the pressure of Lafferty, getting that Suzuki RMZ 450 through the rocks. Lafferty on his Husaberg two-stroke, hanging on in second, and Duval just gonna muscle his way through. Here comes Whibley, here comes Mullins, here comes Russell. Great racing early, and Nate Canny just sitting back there watching it all. Lafferty wants to take the lead. He wants to go by Strang. A little bit of old school here. Go back to the early part of the 2000s. Mike Lafferty was winning a lot of races in this series, contending for the title. Took a few years off to focus exclusively on the Enduro Tour. Now that he's back, he's shown great speed. Mullins in third, then the two young kids, Duval and Russell, trying to follow him through. Whibley and Canny are next, and they are all close. This is going to be a great race in the rocks today. Stay with us. Well, one of the coolest things about this Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series is that amateur riders race on the same days and the same track as the pros. And that includes ATVs and dirt bikes, classes for young and old, male and female, and yes, even utility machines like this that are very, very capable. So if you've got an ATV or a dirt bike in the garage, come out and race with us. One round remains in 2011. That's the Parts Unlimited Loretta Lynn GNCC in November in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. Come join us. But as a racer, a little bit of a change since we left you. Charlie Mullins into the lead. When you're hot, you're hot. When things are going your way, they go your way. As for Strang, he was your leader. He goes back to second. And Thad Duval is there in third. Then Caleb Russell and Mike Lafferty. You hear Lafferty on that two-stroke. Paul Whibley, he's got to get a move on here today. He is also in championship contention as well, but he cannot afford to lose any more points to Mullins. Look at Mullins, great job to these tight trees, and he's really picked up his game in these sections. Mullins has been riding the AMA Enduro Series as well, along with Lafferty, and you really pick up your game in the tight trees, riding that type of stuff on the off weekends of the GNCC Tour. Pick up your Amsoil helmet cam with Caleb Russell, trying to keep the heat on Thad Duval as they go after the mud, the rocks, and the competition here. They've got Mullins and Strang in front. Oh, nice move by Russell. Gonna make the pass. Oh, and you hear the kind of impacts they've got to deal with when you're banging off of tree branches and scraping the bottom of the machine over rocks. It's amazing these riders are able to make passes like that, considering how tight and technical these courses are. Strang trying to keep it upright in the number 2 position. There is Russell now into third. Russell, it's his first year in this XC1 class after winning 2 titles in XC2. He started the year off with 12th and 16th place finishes. Expected to be a steep learning curve for the kid, but he has really come on strong. He has finished second at the last 2 rounds, and the only thing left is for him to try to run down his teammate and try to get one of these GNCC wins. Not going to be easy, though. Looks like he has moved up into second ahead of Strang. But Strang, like we said, has got to be motivated, got to be determined today. Doesn't want to see the KTMs get in front of him again. Then it's Whibley and Lafferty and Canny. And in this type of terrain, in these rocks, Canny from upstate New York really excels. Got to give credit to Mullins, though. He has picked up his game on this terrain as well. Mullins has always been fast on the fast tracks. He has really gotten good over the technical stuff like the rocks and those tight trees, like we mentioned earlier. And a lot of that comes down to experience. Strang was not a big rock fan either when he first entered this tour, moving from his native Australia over to the U.S., but he has gotten a lot better in the rocks as well. You hear them just feathering the throttle, slipping the clutch, as Russell tries to track down Mullins. This is one of those tracks you've really got to race the track and not even worry about the other riders. Try to put the wheels where you need to put them as we watch Canny and Whibley duking it out. I just can't even explain how hard it is on a straightaway like this. You tag one rock wrong, you're going down, and you're going to fall on rocks, and that could end your day. So they've got to go fast enough to maintain the pace of the leaders, but at the same time, you can ill afford a mistake on a track like this. Now they can open it up out in the fields, and speaking of opening it up, Russell has gone to the lead. and you can hear him revving out that 350 KTM. Mullins riding the big 450, Strang on a 450 Suzuki. But Russell, who rode the 250 last year in that XC2 class, feels the 350 is a more logical progression for him, and he's making it work right now. 3 races in a row, we have seen the 557 go to the front. The question is, does he have the experience and the endurance to hold off the established stars all the way to the end? Strang stopping in the Suzuki pit's going to lose a little bit of time as the kid puts down the fast laps. So we knew that Mullins and Strang were the championship favorites and the favorites to win today, but we've got a shot at a rookie upsetting them here in Pennsylvania. Stay with us. And the KTMs are flying in formation here at the VP Racing Fuels Mountain Ridge Grand National Cross Country event. Charlie Mullins on the 112 chasing his young teammate Caleb Russell. Lap riders now shoved between them and Josh Strang on the Suzuki. However, Strang has already stopped in the pits, so he just needs to get back in striking distance of the leaders, and when they stop for fuel, he might be able to get them back. And it looks like Strang has closed back in on Mullins. There it is. And those two who are duking it out for the championship are battling for position on the track. The other rider they have to worry about is Paul Whibley. Oh, and your leader, Russell, has gone down. And Mullins going to take the lead. I think Mullins gave a look there to make sure his teammate was okay. And we stressed that at the beginning of the show as Russell shakes his head. One little mistake on a rocky track like this can make a big difference, and maybe that's the difference of experience. As Mullins and Strang back to the number 1 and 2 positions, we'll see if the kid can run them back down. Lap traffic getting squirrely on these rocks. Mullins tries to plow his way through and almost plows down one of our cameramen. Russell's okay, he's right back in contention and chasing Strang. And looking to make a pass. We're back to the pits again. We said the KTM boys were going to have to stop. Here's Mullins. And there you see Strang blast by, so the strategy has paid off. Russell in the pits right now. So they're losing a lot of time. There's Russell's girlfriend Chandler there on the right. You can see the look of concern as they know Josh Strang is pulling away right now. And there is the young Australian. Great move by the FMF Makita Suzuki team to pit early. But here comes Charlie Mullins on the charge. And we've got a race in our hands. We're past the halfway mark. It's all on the line right now between Strang and Mullins and the kid, Caleb Russell, hanging with them. Looks like Russell up to second, bumping Mullins to third. And it has changed every time we have seen it. Right now, Nate Canny is in fourth, but about a minute down, these three have really upped the pace. Now Mullins to the number 1 spot. And nice the way he has found the right lines, keeping the feet on the pegs. You see Russell getting bounced around a little bit more there, Strang with the feet off at times. But on this track, another mistake from Russell. You're going to make errors. It's just a matter of who makes the fewest, especially at this point in the race when all three are going faster than they have at any other part. They know this is the critical junction to try to win this Mountain Ridge GNCC. And Mullins doing a great job under pressure right now, still holding the number 1 spot with Russell up to second. And Strang has lost a little bit of ground back in third, and he's got to pick it back up. Had the opportunity. Oh, wait a minute, looking down at the machine. Is there a problem with his bike? We thought when he had that pit strategy go his way that he might be able to open it up. Didn't happen. Now it is Mullins grabbing a bottle of water from his dad. We have reached the 2.5-hour mark. 1 lap to go. Mullins has a 20-second lead over Russell. And Russell taking a hand off the bar, probably trying to shake out some arm pump. You race hard over those rocks, it's very easy to tense up, and you take advantage of these field sections to relax. But the damage is done. Strang has lost some time, and what we hear is problems with the rear brakes, and that's why he looked down on the lower right side of the bike. That's the rear brake pedal. Hard to maneuver around a track like this if your brakes aren't working. Stay tuned. It's crunch time here in the last lap of this Mountain Ridge GNCC, and Charlie Mullins letting it all hang out through the pits, trying to put as much distance between himself and this rider, Caleb Russell. try to get his second win in a row. Meanwhile, Josh Strang has rolled up into the Suzuki pits. They are looking at the rear brake pedal area, trying to figure out what is wrong with that machine. And it's all falling into place for Mullins, who's back into the woods and continuing to build a lead. He has been very strong into the third hour of these races this year. Here's his teammate Russell, not quite as sharp as he was at the midsection of the race when he took the lead. Back into the pits, here comes the cavalry. Nate Canny, Paul Whibley going to take spots away from Josh Strang, and that is critical for the series standings. And Canny and Whibley have been battling for the last hour, bouncing off of each other, bouncing off of the rocks. They're not going to make it easy on Strang. Can he get them back? Well, there's the telltale squeal. That means his rear brakes, I believe, are working again. So with the brakes, can Strang go back after him? He's already picked off Whibley. And now he needs to go after... Oh, and Strang is down! And down hard, a face plant from a tangle with a lapped rider. And that's the risk when you push the pace in the last lap. Lap traffic is out there. Those riders are tired. They are not able to run the same pace. Mullins taking advantage of more trouble for Strang as the battle for now second rages. We hear that Russell has crashed. There he is. Nate Canny has rallied from fourth to second with Russell, Whibley, and Strang all right there. And we knew that this track was going to be tough. We knew it was going to breed mistakes. Mullins has made the least. And you see his technique there, great core strength and leg strength to try to keep the bike underneath him as you bang and battle over these rocks. 3 hours in, it's desperation mode for Josh Strang. He needs to make passes. He's not going to get Mullins today. Mullins has ridden a spectacular race, but Strang needs to try to get to second, but he has Canny and Whibley preventing him from doing that. And these two are so tough late in the races. And listen, you heard Strang upshifting through the rocks, trying to find the extra drive he needs. Mullins maintaining the lead, looking for 2 victories in a row. Canny is still in second as they go through the rock garden. Whibley, the New Zealander, right behind. We've said it over and over. Whibley is so tough late in the races, fitness and endurance-wise. He is the best of the best. So Strang is faced with trying to run him down. We know Strang has the speed. Does he have time? Checkered flag coming out. Charlie Mullins is going to win his second race in a row, and with it, extend the series points lead. And the type of mistakes that used to lead to his undoing in years past, they're not happening this year. He's figured it out. Charlie Mullins wins again. And here is your battle. Whibley has taken over second from Canny. Canny gonna try to run it around the outside. And Canny in the banners goes down. Strang going to inherit third. And now trying to get Whibley for the number 2 spot. You can hear them revving the engines, warning the lap traffic that they're coming. Checkered flag is out. Whibley second, Strang third. And Nate Canny had a podium, but he went down battling for second and dragging a whole bunch of Can-Am GNCC banner through the finish line for fourth. Great racing. Let's check it out again. Suzuki slow motion replay. Canny going to try to dive bomb around the outside. He may have had the pass, but he missed the rut and goes right into the banners, and there Strang slides by for third. There are your results. Big crash for Russell in the last lap, drops him back to 5th. Mullins not making mistakes when it counts. Let's send it down to Krista Shaw.
All right, Charlie Mullins taking the win here today at Somerset. Charlie, what does this win mean to you moving into the last few rounds of the season?
It means a lot, you know. Every little point helps, and you know, had a good day today. It was a pretty intense battle between all of us. I mean, it seemed like anybody could have took over the lead at any second. You know, 1 minute I was leading, next minute I'd fall over and lose a few spots. But it was a tough race, and you know, I'm happy to get the win here. And I got in the lead, you know, about a lap and a half to go. Then last lap I dropped the hammer pretty hard, and I pushed as hard as I could to the end, and you know, was able to have a little cushion. So, you know, it's nice to get another win of the year, but you know, still shooting for that goal.
Congratulations on a great performance.
Thank you.
And we know the goal is this, the championship points lead and the championship. Mullins, he was 14 points behind Strang 2 rounds ago. He's now 17 points up. Let's show you how it broke down with our Can-Am race recap. Josh Strang and Paul Whibley battling for the lead early. Strang would take over the number 1 spot Mullins, and Caleb Russell were right there to challenge him, and those three established themselves as the fastest riders on the track today. Then Strang ran into rear brake problems and lost time, leading Russell and Mullins to battle for the #1 spot until Russell had a big crash. Strang stopped in the pits for repairs, falling into a battle with Canny and Whibley for the final podium spots. As Jordan Ashburn, meanwhile, in XC2, took his 3rd win in a row on the Obermeyer Ampro Yamaha. Mullins takes the overall and XC1 class victory, and the battle for second came down to this: Canny and Whibley. Until Canny went down, Whibley took second and Strang third. That's it from Pennsylvania. For Chris Deschamps, Jason Wygant, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.